Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and we have a nickel box right here that we're going to hunt. This is nickel box number 2 of our Hunt and Fill series. Here I have my personal collection and the Series 1 books that we are trying to fill. In the last box, we found a key date, the 1939S. And since it went into my personal collection and I felt like it's probably going to be a while till we find another one, I actually went and purchased one for my personal collection so that the one that we found in the box is going to be going into the folder here. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, but I'm going to put this in here and we'll get right into the video. All right, let's open this up. All right, right off the bat, I'm not seeing anything that screams out anything significantly older. Maybe this one here. Can't tell if there's a mint mark. No buffalo enders. The color doesn't look like there's any war coins in there, at least on the ends. So let's go ahead and find out what's inside. All right, I'm going to be going through 10 rolls at a time, and I'm going to set up what I find here, and then at the end of the 10 rolls, we'll go through what I pulled out and see what we found. So here we go. All right, we are already 10 rolls in. As you can see, I have the Westward Journey designs here. I pull all of those to make full tubes. These are coins from the 60s. The top row is all 64. It's the highest minted Jefferson nickel to date still. So we're going to be finding lots of those. And these are all the other 60s coins. We do have a few spots to fill in the 60s book, so I'm pulling out all those, as well as I do like to make tubes of these 60s coins because they do not come up nearly as much as the 70s or 80s coins. And then here I have laid out the 10 finds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 finds that we've already found in the first 10 rolls. We'll start with the 1941. This is the third year of issue. Jefferson came on the nickels in 1938. And this is right before the nickel switched to silver. There's a 35% silver in 1942. And then this is just afterwards in 1946. So it was silver from 42 all the way through 45. And then in 46, we returned to a copper nickel. Here is 1947. And then we'll jump to 1952. So on these for the condition, you really want to be looking at his hair right around his hairline, the details in there, and sometimes if it wears down quite a bit, the details by the top of his ponytail will show just a little bit of wear when it starts getting really, really worn. So that and his jawline, his cheekbone, those types of things will help determine the grade of the coin. On the reverse, there are designations of the actual steps in the building here. Of course, on these older ones, it's what we're gonna find mostly is completely no steps even visible at all. But if you can see 5 steps or 6 steps, you know that that is a much higher value coin. Here's that 1958 that we're going to be putting in the folder into my personal collection that will be replaced and put into the Series 1 book. And then these 1959s. So more information about those steps. Most nickels didn't even show the full lines all the way across the steps. even when they were first produced. So to find one that has all those lines is incredibly rare, and they are a lot more valuable. All right, last one here, the 1959. Awesome, 9 finds in the first 10 rolls. That is pretty amazing. So I'm going to set these aside up here. Let me see if I can get this box out of the way. All right, I'm going to try to keep them in somewhat of a date run up in this corner. That is 57, 47 here, 48, and the 49. So I keep each, I guess, the one spot of the number of the date in line here, and then the decades as I go through. I'm also going to do that with these 60s coins, so you can also see how those pile up. But I'm not going to go through and show you every single one of these 60s coins. Most people don't hold on to these. So I'll just keep them stacked up. And whether or not you want to hold on to those, you can decide once you see how little I find in the entire box. The other thing we found here is this 2024 from Denver. I believe the last one I found was from Philadelphia. Let me double check. That one made it into my personal collection, because that was the first one that we found. Yes, right here. It was a Philadelphia. So we'll also be filling this spot, the Denver. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to go back through the folders and fill in any spots, make any upgrades. That's actually why I am separating into these bins that you saw. These design here with Jefferson looking to the left is in one box, and the other design, the more modern one with Jefferson looking to the right, kind of at you, I guess, is going into a different box. So we're separating those. That's going to help me go through and look for errors and varieties and things like that, and then keep it all organized to do so. All right, I'm going to clean this up and get right into the next 10 rolls. Right here we have everything laid out for roll 10 through 20, really 11 through 20. I'm just going to scoot everything up real quick. So that we can really see what we got down here at the bottom. So again, Westward Journey's got all the design. Here we have more 64s and then other 60s coins. I actually did find this really good looking 1961. I don't know if this is going to be an upgrade in the Series 1 book or even my personal, but it looks like it may. We also did find 2 2009 Denvers, so that's pretty exciting. And then down here at our actual finds, we found one beating the oldest coin that we found so far. So that's a 1940 now from Philadelphia. That is our oldest coin of the hunt. Then we jump up to a 1949 from Philadelphia. The 1955, of course, from Denver. The Philadelphia is a semi-key date. And then this 1958 from Denver. All right, 4 finds is a little bit more typical in the 10 rolls that we're looking at through here, but this brings us up to 13 finds so far in this box. So super excited. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to our little date run that we have back here. All right, let's go ahead and get started with roll number 21 through 30. is roll 30. So here we have the Westward Journeys and 2 more 2024s. These ones are from Denver. So we'll be able to fill the personal and the Series 1 book. I believe there's one other one we found from Denver. So nice, we're finding more 2024s. We also have a few from the 60s. Not too exciting. There was only one 1964 in those 10 rolls, which is interesting. And then we did get 6 more of the pre-60s finds. So here is a 1940 to match the oldest one that we found. This one might go into my antique look collection. I have a whole collection of coins that the field is darkened and the raised material is still visible. I just like how that looks, so I keep a whole collection of those. Then we've got 2 from 1956, both Denvers. A 1957 that might be joining 1957 Denver, that might be joining that 1940 in the antique look collection. A 1958 from Denver, and a 1959 from Denver. So that makes 19 pre-60s coins in the box so far. So I'll go ahead and organize these into our date run and put these all into their categories. All right, that is 40 rolls now. Here we have the Westward Journey and another 2024 from Denver. That makes 4 for the box. This one's a little dirty, but that's okay. We'll still keep it. Then we've got our 60s and 64, and then our pre-60s finds. So here we have a 4041 from Denver. Then we jump all the way to a 19... Did I say 41? I meant 1941, guys. 1941 and 1953 from Philadelphia. A 1954 from Denver. Another 1957 from Denver. And I believe this one's a 1959. The 5 kind of looks like a 3, but we have a 5 here to compare it. Let's see. I'm going to say it's a 59. 1959 here. So that is 5 more of our pre-60s finds. So let's go ahead and put these away. All right, in the last 10 rolls, here's what we have for the Westward Journey. This is the row of 60s that we pulled out, as well as the 64s. And I even did find this very toned, almost copper looking nickel. It's a 1999. Nothing special about the year at all, but especially from the rim, it looked like it was a foreign coin, and it almost looks copper. I'm going to hold on to this. I might end up throwing it back later, but I kind of like it. And then, of course, our pre-60s finds, we found one 1946 from Philadelphia, a 1956 from Denver, and this is a 1957 from Denver. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stack these up how we have been, and then it's time to go back through this discard pile for any upgrades or varieties or errors. All right, we are here with the final wrap up. So here I have the pre-60 pulls and the 1960s that I pulled out. We also have some discolored ones, the 2024s and 2009s. Some of these, I'm calling it an antiqued look from the 60s, as well as stacks of the 64s and the Westward Journey series here. So what actually got into our books? We got 8 coins into the Series 1 book, 4 coins to complete out the 1962 to 1995 book. We also got a 2024 Denver, so now we're only trying to find the 2024 Philadelphia and the 2025 coins. In my personal, I only have 10 holes left, and that's after filling the 1958. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to purchase one to move this coin to the Series 1 and refill that spot, or if I'm going to find another one soon. I think I only did 2 box hunts before starting this series with nickels for my personal collection. So this is what we ended up totaling. 27 pre-60s finds, which is an outstanding number. I usually shoot for 25. I got 29 60s coins, which, since it is so close to this number, I feel like I'm going to keep holding on to these 60s coins. The goal overall is to build full rolls of each year in the 60s. So we'll find out which ones are harder to find, which ones are harder to get, and things like that. Then I found 4 2024 Denvers and 2 2009 Denvers, as well as these stacks of the 1964 and the Westward series. So again, just like the 60s coins, I'm going to be making full rolls of these and keeping the best ones for Philly and Denver. So later I'll be showing you guys once I get to full rolls. But that is it for now. If you guys like this video, make sure you give a thumbs up. If you know someone that might like content like this, make sure you share the video. And if you want to continue watching how I fill these books and how albums and how many boxes it takes to fill these nickel albums, please subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching.